Okay, yeah, hi, and welcome to Kerbal Space Science. Um, I'm Vince Speed, and this is my second attempt at a YouTube series. First one's still kind of in progress, and I'll work on that later on. Right, so Kerbal Space Science looks at is a playthrough of the .22 Science and Development upgrade, centered around this, which is the Research and Development Center. Okay, so let's have a look in here then. As you can see, when you start out, we've got virtually nothing. We've got command pod, liquid fuel engine, solid fuel booster, fuel canister, some structural stuff, transmitter, and a parachute. Okay. What we're going to do then is, over the series, we're going to set up a series of space flights to help us gain some science and improve what kit we've got in the VAB. So we're going to start out with what I've called the Hercules program, which is a series of well, they're not even suborbital flights. They don't leave the atmosphere, just to get us some science, really, just get us some research and knowledge of the area immediately around the KSC. And the Hercules program is going to consist of two launches, Hercules 1 and Hercules 2. And without much further delay, we're going to look at or start building the Hercules craft. Okay, so I'm going to start off with our Mark 16 command pod because that's all we've got. Okay, and to help it return safely, I'm going to use a Mark 16 parachute. Sorry, it's Mark 1 command pod. Okay, now for an ascent stage. In fact, no, mission craft's not finished yet. We need a transmitter to get all that beautiful science back to the KSC. Okay, there you go. That's a transmitter mounted on the underside, so it's out of the way. So it doesn't stop the pilot from getting in and out. Okay, and for an ascent stage, then I've chosen to go with, I think, the RT-10 solid fuel booster because, well, I'll tell you why. Solid fuel booster is all self-contained, so you've got your fuel and your engine in there. And once that fuel's gone, all you're left with is a dry mass of 0.5 of a ton, I guess is the unit of mass in this game. Now, if you look at that and compare it with a liquid fuel engine, the engine itself is total mass of 1.25. That's the dry mass because it's doesn't contain its own fuel. That's pretty much the same mass as this whole craft put together. Okay, and then you're going to have to add some fuel cans to supply the engine. If you look at the total dry mass of that is well, 0.125, which is reasonably a lot considering you'll need two of these. And I don't know what that adds up to, but the Mark 16 would not be able to deal with that, whereas it can deal with the total mass of a command pod and a solid fuel booster. So that's what we're going to go for. Okay, and that is the Hercules craft. Okay, and let's stage that correctly because otherwise things could go very wrong, and we don't want that. Save. Okay, and we're going to choose a crew member. We're going to go for Jebediah Kerman, who's our chief engineer, and as he's helped build it, he might as well test it out. So let's launch. We're going to rename the craft Hercules 1 because it's the first craft for the Hercules program. Okay, that's Hercules 1 for you, and let's launch. Go to bed. Right, I'm just going to talk through this bit because I'm not sure how good the gain on my microphone is compared to the background sound. As you can see, we're going very fast considering how low we are in the atmosphere, but that's what you get when you're using solid rockets, really. We'll start our turn at about 3,000. Might as well start there as well. I'm going to go very far anyway. Right, and now that we've stopped, we're going to start doing some science. So first of all, let's get a crew report. So this is Jeb telling us where he is and what's going on. So it's a report flying over Kerbin's water biosphere. As some of you may know, the planet's been divided into several different biospheres. Right, as it's a crew report and it's only Jeb's narrative of what's going on, you can send it back to the Space Center without losing much or any science value. So we'll transmit it back, as you'll see the antenna coming out and beginning to transmit. And once it's done, it should retract back in. There you go. Okay, so that's our first bit of science on the from the Kerbal Space Center. Next up, we're gonna let the craft land. Really, we can fast forward that because we all know what it looks like. I'll fast forward it down to about 2000, then deploy the chute. Okay. What we're going to do when we touch down is Jeb is going to get out and carry out a bit more science. Okay, just to highlight two more experiments that you can do whilst you're here and deploy chute. Okay. He's going to do an EVA report, so he's going to get out, have a bit of a swim around, and let us know what's going on and how it affects him. And he's also going to get a sample of the water, so you know what the Kerbal seas are like and what minerals they contain. Right. Come forward, go a little bit quicker. I'm currently only using the free version of Bandicam, so I can't record for very long. But once I get the full version, it won't be so much of an issue. Okay, and splashdown. What we're going to do, we're going to tilt the craft into the water and rotate the head slightly. Okay, put the ASAS on. Okay, and Jeb's going to go for his EVA. He's going to let go. Right, so he's going to swim around. Going to do an EVA report. Right, as it's a report based on how the environment affects Jeb, you can't just transmit it back. Jeb needs to actually go back to the KSC, go and see a doctor and see how the EVA has affected him. So you can't transmit it. Well, you can transmit it, but you'll lose half the science value. So what we'll do is we'll keep the data for later. So Jeb's going to go for a little swim. As yes, Kerbals can swim. Not very well, I guess. Right, and what it's going to do is going to also take a surface sample. That's just a quick sample of the water, and again, worth 12 science value, but if you transmit it, you'd lose half of that, so again, we're going to keep it. And I'm going to grab on and get back onto our craft. Okay, and Jeb is now ready to be, oh good god. Okay, so Jeb's got to go back and redo that, because what he's done is he's just gotten straight back into the craft, and if you do that, you lose whatever experiments you were carrying at the time. Okay, so take a surface sample as well, keep data. So before you get back in, you need to store your experiments. Oh no, that's right, they store automatically, so that's fine. You can get back in then, don't worry about it. F and board. Okay, so we've already got those experiments on board, so don't worry about that. And Jeb can now get ready to be recovered. Okay, so we're back at the Space Center, and we're going to recover Jeb. Okay. Recover Jeb. This is just the recycle window, something left over from the mission controller mod, which I am not using in this game. Okay, and that's all our science. We've got the surface sample at 12 points, the EVA report at 3.2 points, and also we get science for recovering a vessel that survived a flight, because we can go through the data computers and see what what improvements we can make. Okay, and that brings us up to 20.2. Plus, don't forget the 3 points we got for the crew report, which was transmitted back earlier. Okay, so click done, and we've got our science points. What we would then do, we would launch, we're going to have a quick launch of Hercules 2, and then we're also going to design, well, we're going to spend those science points afterwards, and then design the next craft for the next spaceflight program. So I've been Vince Speed, and thank you for watching Kerbal Space Science.